Welcome back to North Dakota Today. Long before the many fine haircut establishments that we have in this town, there was one man known as the pioneer barber of the Red River Valley. His name was Felix Battles. He is an African American who was born into slavery but later gained his freedom. Now the Historical and Cultural Society of Clay County is fundraising for his monument. Programming Director Marcus Kruger joins us to tell us a little bit more about the fundraising efforts that are going on. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
You bet, you bet. So there's more to Felix Battles than just being a barber. Tell us a little bit about his story.
Yeah, well, he's a fascinating guy that we at the Historical Society we've been following him for 30 years, but we're looking for a way to get him out to the public, and he's a very fascinating guy. He was born into slavery near Memphis, Tennessee. We see him on a list of enslaved people on a plantation by William Dawson near Holly Springs, Mississippi, when he's 13 years old. He's listed as being worth $600. There's 4 people on that sheet of paper that says that their life is worth $1. So it's shocking. But then by 1860, 4 years later, he's not in Mississippi, he's free, in Iowa. He somehow, we don't know the story, but somehow he escaped slavery, and makes his way north to Minnesota, to St. Paul. And it's in St. Paul in 1864 where he joins the United States Army during the Civil War, and he returns to the South as a corporal in the 18th Regiment of the United States Colored Infantry. And these are men who, you can see my cat here too. Sorry. Isn't good?
That's great.
So the USCT, the U.S. Colored Troops, were mostly men like Felix who were born enslaved, freed themselves, found and then joined the U.S. Army to defeat the system of American slavery by destroying the Confederacy.
Okay. So there were a few photos that came up. Did you happen to see those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looked like maybe a log or letters or some sort of an excerpt about him.
Well, yeah, there was the first one. I didn't quite see which one. I think that might have been the Oh, that one, yeah. So he pops up in the local newspapers because so Fargo-Moorhead was established by the railroad in 1871, and within a few years, Felix is living here as a barber, and so he pops up in the newspapers every now and then. They call him the pioneer barber of the Red River Valley, talking about how everybody likes him. He's a valued member of Moorhead's early business community, and so he moves up here with his wife, his son, his daughter, his wife's in-laws, or his wife's siblings and mom move up here. And together, these families, the Battles, the Harrises, the Gills, the Taylors, they help establish Fargo-Moorhead's early African-American community.
Awesome. So why build a monument?
Well, the idea, we were always looking for a way of telling people about Felix. And then a couple of years ago, we had the whole Civil War statues debate about who our heroes should be, how should we remember the Civil War, and I thought to myself, who deserves a statue is Felix Battles. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm an artist. I know other artists. Moorhead's an arts town. We got murals celebrating our zip code. Why not have a statue of Felix Battles? And so we asked. I came up with the design, and I got some help from my friend Lyle Landstrom, who's an artist and civil engineer in Moorhead, and we came up with an idea and figured out how much money it would be, and we asked the people of Moorhead if they wanted it. We held a fundraiser at Junkyard Brewery, and we raised enough money before I stepped on stage. So what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years, it turns out that this is the first public sculpture project I've ever been a part of. It turns out it's more complicated than just digging a hole.
Of course, it usually is. It usually is. So, Marcus, tell us.
You got to find a site.
Yeah. How can people help donate?
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest. We raised the money. We're just looking for a spot.
Oh, fantastic. So
Yeah.
that'll happen pretty soon. Congratulations on that. Love it. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's fantastic. This is a great story, something we didn't expect. So wonderful. I thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Coming up on today's show, waterproofing techniques that could keep our basements from flooding. That's next.